Namo Guru Padma Manjushri Vajra Tikshnaya. This is a prayer to Padmasambhava transliterated from Sanskrit. Holder of the vajra, you who are in truth all Buddhas of the triple time, lake-born Lord, appearing as an emanation in this world, body of undying wisdom, sovereign of Vidyadharas, Padmakara, O glorious one, protect me now this wanderer. The nature of the Buddhas of the past, present, and future is the holder of the vajra, who appeared in front of sentient beings of this world as the lake-born Lord, also known as Padmasambhava. Having attained undying wisdom, you are the sovereign of tens of thousands of Vidyadharas, or awareness holders. We beseech you, the glorious Padmasambhava, to protect us, the pitiful beings in these times of degeneration. The more we beseech Padmasambhava, the stronger the blessing we will receive from him. When the blessing dissolves into our hearts, our practice is bound to succeed without a hitch. Now, when the Dharma is in decline, evil spirits and heretics are extremely active, and our wrongful attachments and negative thoughts might come up at any time. In such a dark age, it is rather difficult to try to accomplish practice through our own feeble effort, without relying on the support of an extraordinarily powerful force. Therefore, again and again, I appeal to you, my Vajra friends, to pray constantly to Guru Padmasambhava with fierce conviction. If you do so, your practice will go smoothly from its beginning till its end. The lotus of my heart, endowed with threefold faith, is turned toward the day star of the mighty conqueror and opens in the splendor of blessings. May the honey dewdrops of this explanation sweetly fall and satisfy the wishes of the fortunate. When the sun shines, the lotus flower blossoms and honey dewdrops gestate, tasted only by the fortunate ones. Likewise, when the sun of Tathagata's blessing shines, the wisdom lotus of Mipham Rinpoche's faith blossoms, and these teachings come naturally, enjoyed by fortunate ones, those with a special karmic affinity for them. Of all the prayers to the great and glorious Master of Odhyana, embodiment of all Buddhas past, present, and to come, the invocation, composed of 7 vajra verse, is supreme. It arose spontaneously as the natural resonance of indestructible ultimate reality and is an immense treasure mine of blessings and accomplishments. Many prayers to Guru Rinpoche exist, but the king of all is the 7-line prayer. This prayer was not composed by Padmasambhava himself. It is a prayer with which the Buddhas of the 10 directions entreat Padmasambhava to come. Emitted naturally from the sky, when the blessing and wisdom of the Buddhas of the 3 times join together, just like the soul air of the doctrine Tantra, this prayer is the source or the treasury of all blessings, all merits, and all siddhis. Leaving its profound inner or secret meanings alone, just by learning the outer meaning that Mipham Rinpoche explains here, we can see how incredible the prayer is, although it contains just 7 lines. Because the prayer is so beneficial, you can find it in every treasure text of the 108 tertons of the Tibetan region. This is also why every Dharma assembly in the Tibetan region, especially that of the Nyingma tradition, begin with 3 times recitations of the 7-line prayer. As long as you pray with sincere faith and devotion, Guru Rinpoche, as well as the Buddhas of the 10 directions, the 3 roots, Dharma protectors, and all the other noble beings will gather in front of you and bestow blessings and empowerments on you. It is akin to the young infant roaming about the crowded street, fully lost and isolated, without being attended by anyone. Earnestly calls out to his mother, who then naturally appears, bringing him a sense of comfort and security. In this dark time of degeneration, even if we really wish our Dharma practice succeeds without any problems, there might be some difficulties if we rely only on our own efforts. Therefore, it is very important to pray to our Lama, the Dharma protectors, and the deities, especially Padmasambhava. In the sadhana upon the 7-line prayer, taken from a Dharma treasure of Pema Garwang Chime Yudrung Lingpa, Guru Rinpoche declares to King Trisongdetsen and his companions, the following part is a terma, treasure text, revealed by Padma Garwang Chime Yudrung Lingpa, who was also known as Jamgon Kongtrul Lodro Taye, that describes the benefit of this prayer. He, as a contemporary of Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, was a great Terton who was Mipham Rinpoche's spiritual teacher. His biography is documented in the Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, its fundamentals and history, as well as in many other historical records. He composed more than 90 volumes of writings in his life, including the famous The Five Great Treasures. In some of his biographies, there is an account that describes his incredible merits. When it comes to his writings, it seems like he spent all his life writing books. But when it comes to the Dharmas, treasure texts, he revealed, it seems like he devoted his whole life benefiting sentient beings with Dharmas, so on and so forth. In every regard, his activities of benefiting sentient beings and spreading the Dharma are extremely extensive and incredible. When I, the lotus that upholds all things, was resting in absorption in the vast primordial expanse, I was invoked by vajra sound, the play of ultimate reality, a self-arisen melody in 7 lines. I rose then in the boundless majesty of the Sambhogakaya, revealing an array of Buddhas and their space-pervading fields, endowed with 5-fold certainty. At the beginning, I, Padmasambhava, resided in a lotus and remained abiding in the expanse of phenomena, the primordial state, free from all fabrications and beyond expression. Then, the wonderful sound of the 7-line prayer arose spontaneously from the play of ultimate reality, due to the collective power of ultimate reality itself and the merit of sentient beings' positive karma. This wonderful melodious supplication made Padmasambhava emerge from the state of Dharmakaya and manifest himself in the form of Sambhogakaya with limitless power. As we all know, Sambhogakaya has 5 certainties regarding the teacher's body form, disciples, teachings, time, and place. These 5 certainties pervade the vastness of empty space and are manifested in the majesty of a Buddha field. This means that in the field of Sambhogakaya, possessing the 5 certainties, and in a self-risen way, Padmasambhava teaches the sublime Dharma that is beyond expression to his retinue. Then the 5 exalted mothers of the ultimate expanse implored me with a 7-line song to work for beings good. And therefore on a lotus blossom raised upon its stem, within the milky ocean in the field of supreme bliss, I was made manifest, renowned as Thutreng, garlanded with skulls in 5-fold lineage. My life and deeds are past imagining. At that moment, the 5 mothers of the 5 families, i.e. Mamaki of the Ratna family, Buddhalochana of the Vajra family, Datvishvari of the Buddha family, Pandavarasini of the Padma family, and Samayatara of the Karma family, sing in one voice with the wondrous melody of the Vajra 7-line prayer to supplicate the Sambhogakaya of Padmasambhava to work for beings good. At that moment, a lotus blossom appeared in the milky ocean in the western Buddha field of bliss, and Guru Padmasambhava manifested himself on top of it as Pema Tutreng Tsal in the form of 5-fold lineage, i.e. lotus born of the Ratna family, lotus born of the Vajra family, lotus born of the Buddha family, lotus born of the Padma family, and lotus born of the Karma family. His life and activities to benefit beings are limitless and boundless. This means that in the land of bliss, Guru Padmasambhava benefits sentient beings in a manner of semi-Nirmanakaya, semi-Sambhogakaya. How Padmasambhava came to our world, and then 100 million wisdom Dakinis, with one voice called to me that I might propagate the doctrine of the secret mantra, entreating me with 7-line song to come into this world, the field that Sakyamuni tamed. And so in Orgyan's land, the cradle of the mantras, on Dhanakosha Lake, upon a wondrous lotus raised upon its stem, appearing from the field of bliss I came. As lake-born Vajra, I am therefore known. Then 100 million wisdom Dakinis sang the wonderful 7-line prayer in one voice, supplicating Guru Padmasambhava to come to this world from the Buddha field of ultimate bliss to spread the supreme Vajrayana in Jambudvipa, where Buddha Sakyamuni tamed beings. They prayed, and then, proper causes and conditions arose. Then within the field of Buddha Sakyamuni, in the land of Adhyana, the cradle of the Mantrayana, on an island in the lake of Dhanakosha, a very rare lotus flower bloomed. Then, the Buddha Amitabha in the Buddha field of ultimate bliss sent from his heart a letter R, which descended onto the pistil of this lotus flower. The letter transformed into a beautiful young boy. At that time, King Indrabhuti came to this lake and encountered the boy. Then he took the boy back to the kingdom and installed him as the crown prince. This is why Padmasambhava is also known as lake-born Vajra. This part illustrates how Padmasambhava came to Jambudvipa in his Nirmanakaya form. In addition, according to the teachings of many great masters, Guru Padmasambhava is the conjoined manifestation of Amitabha, Buddha Sakyamuni, and Avalokiteshvara. Therefore, ordinary people and even some bodhisattvas might find it difficult to accept or understand his incredible display and activities. B. The mysterious display of Guru Padmasambhava's stay at Tibet. That is probably why there are so many disputes concerning how long Guru Padmasambhava stayed in the Tibetan region. Some versions say that he stayed only for some months, like 3, 6, 12, or 18 months. Some say years, like 3, 6, or 12 years. And some others say he stayed more than 50 years, or 111 years, so on and so forth. However, the most widely accepted opinion is that Guru Padmasambhava manifested in front of most Tibetans and fortunate sentient beings to remain in the Tibetan region for more than 50 years. Dujom Rinpoche's book, The Nyingma School of Tibetan Buddhism, Its Fundamentals and History, recorded that Guru Rinpoche came to the Tibetan region when King Trisong Detsen was 21 years old and stayed in the Tibetan region for another 16 years after the king died at the age of 59. Then why some historical documents say that Padmasambhava lived in the Tibetan region for a much shorter period of time? Dujom Rinpoche explained that in front of evil ministers, Padmasambhava appeared a much shorter time. In fact, when Guru Rinpoche manifested to leave the Tibetan region, his real body traveled from place to place, bestowing his blessing upon the whole land of snow. Because of Guru Rinpoche's incredibly miraculous power and blessing, as well as the protection of a great many Dharma protectors, Tibetan Buddhism remains prosperous and complete even till today, and no other religious tradition was able to penetrate the Tibetan region. Therefore, it is very important that we pray to Guru Padmasambhava constantly for the protection of our Dharma center or our own Dharma practice. In fact, there are many great masters who value the practice of Padmasambhava very much, and because of their constant engagement in this practice, their own spiritual practice was not disturbed or interrupted by any hindrance. A. The 7-line prayer is the root of all dharmas, revealing marvels inconceivable. My wondrous forms are infinite. For Dakinis and Dakas of the lake, the secret essence of the greatly secret teachings I set forth, 100 million tantras, agamas, and upadeshas of the magic net of Padma, to help the living and all those who yet will come, according to their different inclinations. At the time when Padmasambhava came to the human realm, he displayed various wondrous forms in front of sentient beings and benefited them with many different wondrous manifestations. Especially for the benefit of sentient beings of that time and for those in the future, and in front of beings with different capacities and inclinations, like Dakinis, Vajradakas, and human beings, Padmasambhava taught countless and inconceivable secret essences of Dharma, i.e. sutras, tantras, theories, and pith instructions, like the magic net of Padma and many others. These doctrines all have been distilled in sadhanas upon myself, the Guru myself, embodiment of the 3 roots. The prayer in 7 lines is root of all these sadhanas. Within the ground, these lines denote the 7 kinds of consciousness. Upon the path, they represent the 7 branches of enlightenment, and when the fruit is one, they are perfected as the 7 sacred riches of the ultimate. Padmasambhava taught sentient beings of different inclinations, incredible sutras, tantras, and upadeshas, and all these dharmas, in fact, can be summarized as practices of the three roots, Guru, Dakini, and Yidam. And all practices of the three roots can be included in the practices of Guru Padmasambhava. But even regarding just Guru Padmasambhava's practices, there are many. Each terma text or the composition of each master may have different types of Padmasambhava practice. Some are practices of peaceful Padmasambhava, and some are practices of wrathful Padmasambhava. Then, each terma about the peaceful Padmasambhava contains different sadhanas. Nevertheless, all Padmasambhava practices are contained in the 7-line prayer. It includes not only all the practices of the Guru, Yidam and Dakini, but also all the dharmas of the ground, path, and fruit. On the level of the ground, it encompasses all dharmas of the 7 kinds of consciousness. On the level of the path, it covers all dharmas of the 7 elements for enlightenment, and on the level of the fruit, it covers all dharmas of the 7 sacred riches of the ultimate. Thus, this prayer encompasses all. B. The pronunciation of the prayer. Since the root of all practices of Guru Padmasambhava is the 7-line prayer, if you do not know how to practice different sadhanas of guru-rinpoche, you can simply chant the 7-line prayer, and that should be no problem for most people. Of course, each person has his or her own way of chanting. Each region also has its own dialect and may chant differently. Sometimes we see that people from Lhasa and its surrounding region pronounce Dharma prayers differently from those living in Dokam or other places. Take the Vajra Guru mantra, for example. People in some places chant Oma Hum Banzar Gore Padma Sodo Hum, while people in other places chant Oma Hum Banza Guru Pema Siddhi Hum. For this reason, it is quite difficult to set a standard for the pronunciation of chanting, because different regions have different dialects, and thus the pronunciation is different. We cannot say the pronunciation of one place is standard, and the pronunciation of people from other places is not. Therefore, as long as people chant with faith and a pure mind, pronunciation won't be a big problem for receiving the blessing. Once, there was a great master who practiced chanting the Vajra Kilaya mantra. After practicing a long time, he was able to stab his furba directly into a rock. One day, Sakya Pandit passed by the valley where the master abided and heard everything, including plants and water in the valley, resonate with the sound of the Vajra Kilaya mantra, so he thought that there must be a very great practitioner living around this place. However, when he listened carefully, he realized that the pronunciation of the mantra was not precisely right. He sought out to meet the practitioner and managed to find him in a cave and corrected his pronunciation. However, when the practitioner revised his chanting, the sound of resonance disappeared. Then Sakyapanda thought maybe this is not right and let the practitioner return to his old way of chanting. When the practitioner did so, he was again able to still stab his furba into a rock again, and all the surrounding resonated with the sound of the mantra. This story shows that as long as our mind is pure, the pronunciation is not a big problem. A. The fast way to receive empowerment of wisdom. If thus you simply call upon me, with this melody of Vajra sound, I, Padma, cannot help but come to you. I will give to you my blessings and will grant empowerment of great primordial wisdom. If you entreat Padmasambhava with the Vajra 7-line prayer in a melodious sound, then Padmasambhava cannot help but come to you, which means that he will immediately appear in front of you to grant you blessings and give you empowerments that bestow upon you great wisdom. These are Vajra words of Padmasambhava that will never fail. Nowadays, there are many practitioners who cannot find lamas to give them empowerments because many lamas are very busy or are not in good health. If this is the case, then you can ask Guru Rinpoche for empowerments. By reciting the 7-line prayer every day, Guru Rinpoche's wisdom body will come to you and give you empowerments. As long as you have faith, then you are bound to receive his blessings and empowerments of wisdom. B. Signs of blessings. The multitudes of deities of the three roots will gather like the clouds to grant unhindered, common, and supreme accomplishments. And in your waking life, or in your meditation, or in the visions of your dreams, you will encounter me. Swirls of rainbow light you'll see, and smell sweet scents. When you supplicate by reciting the 7-line prayer, the three roots of Guru, Yidams, and Dakas will gather like the clouds in front of you to grant you blessings and bestow upon you common and supreme siddhis without hindrances. Through such practice, you might have special feelings or experiences of receiving the blessing of Padmasambhava and many deities, or experience of seeing them in your daily life, meditation, or dreams. And sometimes you might even see a rainbow light or smell sweet scents around your meditation room. While I was translating this text, Padmasambhava appeared many times in the visions of my dreams. I am not saying that this is a very profound spiritual state. The reason I am mentioning it is to confirm what Venerable Longchenpa described as the 6 types of certainties in his text, Treasury of Pith Instructions. One of the certainties is that if a person practices the Dharma, then it is certain that he will experience the blessings. Therefore, if you practice the Dharma with devotion, you are bound to receive blessings or empowerments. And hear celestial airs and gentle tapping of the Dhammaru. Your body, speech, and mind with blessings drenched, you will gain realization in a single leap by virtue of the strength of your awareness. 8 classes of proud spirits will be subject to your word. If you practice the 7-line prayer, then you will often hear the sound of the Dhammaru from the celestial beings and the sound of instruments of Dharma protectors, Dakas and Dakinis. In the past, various kinds of wonderful sounds can often be heard surrounding the caves or cabins where some practitioners took solitary retreats. In addition to this, your body, speech, and mind will be greatly blessed. If your body used to suffer a lot, it will become very relaxed and comfortable with practice. If your speech was careless and sharp, it will become soft and gentle with practice. If you used to be troubled with deep-rooted negative emotions, through Guru Padmasambhava's empowerment, with a very strong and powerful blessing dissolving into your mind, you will experience that all your greed, anger, and ignorance is transformed tremendously. Some people change very quickly because the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have dissolved into their minds through their devoted practice. Those with sharper capacities will even immediately gain intrinsic awareness, i.e., become enlightened instantly and recognize the true reality. Then, all 8 classes of proud spirits will attend duly to whatever instruction you give them. They will no longer harm you. Instead, they will become your protectors and constant helpers so that your Dharma activities become prosperous. All you thus linked with me will gain my blessings' power, and swift to gain attainment as Vidyadharas, you will never part from me, the lotus-born. Samaya. If you practice this prayer of Padmasambhava, you will benefit countless sentient beings, whoever has formed a bond with you. In addition to this, you will gain great power and force, and swiftly attain the state of Vidyadhara, becoming no different from Padmasambhava himself. Although you may not be able to help others at this moment, when your Dharma practice reaches a certain level, you will benefit everyone who is linked with you, either through a good or a bad karmic bond. Meanwhile, you will gain great power yourself. There are some people, whenever they talk, their words are weak. Whenever they work, their motivations are feeble. Whenever they do something meaningful, they will encounter great obstacles and fail to accomplish their tasks. Why it is so? This might be due to their strong karmic hindrances or demonic spirits that come often and disturb their minds. However, if we practice this extraordinary sadhana, all these problems will be removed through the blessings of Guru Rinpoche. since we will gain force and swiftly attain the state of Vidyadhara, becoming no different from Padmasambhava himself. A. Prophecy for the revealing of the Dharma, the three roots I myself personify, the vajra form arisen from the lake, appearing as a magic net of emanations. If you pray to me according to your aspirations, I will grant accomplishments that correspond to them. For you, who are now king and subjects, and for the sake of my disciples yet to come, I teach with love the essence of my heart. It means, I, Padmasambhava, am in truth the three roots. In front of sentient beings, my vajra body manifested from a lotus in the ocean, and I appeared as a magic net of emanations. If you generate faith in all my merits and pray to me, you will receive accomplishments corresponding to your aspirations. The most excellent supplicants will receive the best empowerments and blessings, while mediocre supplicants will gain mediocre blessings. For the benefit of the king and king's subjects of that time, as well as his future disciples, Guru Rinpoche imparted instructions endowed with great compassion, which are like the essence of his heart. Not divulged, but as deep treasure it must now be hid. In evil times to come, my own disciple will appear, and at that time, endowed with wisdom, through the power of Vairotsana's prayer, he will reveal this means for taming beings, gleaming with symbolic lettering of light. Thus far and wide will spread a source of help for wanderers. Samaya. This instruction of Guru Rinpoche, instead of being disseminated at that time, was hidden as a treasure text. Guru Rinpoche predicted that in the future time of degeneration, when his fortunate disciples appear, through Vairotsana's power of aspiration, this teaching will appear as symbolic lettering of light or in Dakini script. There are many extraordinary sadhanas of the seven-line prayer, many of which, such as this sadhana of Kongtrul Rinpoche, were concealed in oceans, in mid-air, in holy mountains or elsewhere. According to some historical documents, Dakini Yeshet Sogyal spent 100 years concealing all of Guru Rinpoche's profound teachings after he left for the Rakshasa kingdom. Then great masters like Nyakjana Kumara, Vairotsana, Nang Yeshe Dorje, Vimalametra also concealed many supreme tantric teachings that await revelation by great Tertans later. B. The excellence of Dharma. Dharmas are extraordinary. In fact, treasure texts exist in Sutrayana as well. In Dujom Rinpoche's Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, Sutrayana scriptural texts like the Sutra of River Games are quoted to support this point. According to those texts, Buddha Sakyamuni hid some of his special teachings in certain places and prophesies that certain persons will come and reveal them in the future. However, since these kinds of treasure texts are not as frequently seen in Sutrayana as in the lineage of Guru Rinpoche, people therefore tend to think that they exist only in the tantric tradition. In the history of Tibetan Buddhism, there are the 108 most widely acknowledged and famous Tertans, whose biographies can be found in the 100 Tertans. In addition, in other history books of Buddhism, such as Dujom Rinpoche's Nyingma school of Tibetan Buddhism, there are also biographies of great Tertans, such as Jigme Lingpa, Kongtrul Rinpoche, Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, and Mipham Rinpoche. If we read the treasure texts revealed by the great Tertans and understand their merit and profound impact, we will generate great conviction in the efficacy of Dharmas. The Dharma lineage, as the short one among the two modes of transmission of the teachings of the Nyingma school, is free from the defects that the distant oral transmission has. Unlike the distant oral transmission or the karma lineage, the Dharma lineage teachings are completely pure, free from any contamination that comes as a result of breaking the samayas, and without the complicated and long process of transmission from teachers to disciples. Padmasambhava personally blessed all of these Dharma teachings, concealed them somewhere, and predicted who will reveal them in the future. In due time, when all the favorable conditions come together through the power of Guru Rinpoche's aspiration, as well as the power of motivation and spiritual realization of the destined disciple, Tirtan. These texts will be revealed for the benefit of all sentient beings. Sometimes termas are revealed when Tirtans come to a specific place where they recall their past lives. In 1990, when His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche visited Paro Takht Sang in Bhutan, a place where Padmasambhava manifested in the wrathful form riding on the back of a tiger to conquer the demonic beings, His Holiness recalled what Guru Rinpoche had entrusted to him in his previous life and revealed a terma of a wrathful Padmasambhava's practice. Tantric practice and teaching contain profound meanings that are far beyond our conceptual comprehension. It is important for Vajrayana followers to be aware of this. On this occasion, I will only give a concise and literal explanation rather than an extensive teaching on the treasure text of Pema Garwang Chime Yudrung Lingpa. My intention is to let those who have faith in Vajrayana understand what kind of merit this 7-line prayer has. After we complete this teaching, many of you might recite this prayer every day, even while walking or eating. After some time, however, you may no longer be so inspired and diligent because ordinary beings' minds are unreliable and changeable. Even if this happens, once you have the fundamental understanding the prayer, you will not lose your confidence no matter what kind of adversity you may encounter. Once again, I would like to emphasize the great importance of praying to Padmasambhava during this time of degeneration. I hope you can reflect on this point. It's not because I am a Tibetan Buddhist practitioner that I propagate teachings and practices of Tibetan Buddhism. As long as it is beneficial for sentient beings, either Buddhist teaching or others, it deserves being promoted equally. This is the supreme goal. So, what is the most meaningful teaching for every living being? You should all deeply reflect on this.